Hey, Internet. Welcome back to Same-ish Different Day, the podcast where we continue the march into madness. I'm Razzle Malik, and I'm joined with my Amazeballs co-host, Bailey Nargang. Also featuring the lovely Wine Mom, the arbiter of everything TikTok and YouTube.
Hey, it's Wine Mom.
Bailey here. Gotta drop that reminder that you can find this show on any streaming service you use. Remember to leave a sassy review, and you want to bash us or our opinions generally? Well, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and maybe some other places in the future.
I join these guys weekly to keep their egos in check as we break down complex social issues and talk about why your kids shouldn't be watching family vloggers.
We talk about real-ish on a real level. Ain't got time for the Twitters? Don't worry, we have collectively wasted our existence combing the internet for you.
Also, before these two get carried away, don't be shy. Join our Discord for the inside scoop. You can also support us on Patreon, where you can work your way up our very own class system. And don't worry, it's pay to win.
So welcome back to another episode of Same Shit, Different Day, where we try not to rip each other's heads off.
Let's get it.
He's trying to force you into it.
Okay, all right.
Production manager.
Well, just tell me. Go, Bailey. Do the intro, Bailey. All right.
Bailey. I've been saying that for the last 37 minutes.
Oh, my God.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
Oh, my God. What's up, internets? Welcome to Same-ish Different Day, the podcast with a name that we can't say anymore. This week, Raza wanted to talk about the odd jobs that we've had in our life. So, what weird job did you have growing up, and did it make you think twice before applying to jobs since you had that wacky or unbearable experience? Now, I feel like I have too many tales, so I'm going to throw it to a Raza first to tell me his most abhorrent experience that he had.
Yeah, so, right out of high school, I graduated high school. The week I graduated, I applied for a job saying, oh, you could sell knives. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I thinking it's in a Lowe's or something, or a freaking like a home store. And then all of a sudden I go there and they're like, okay, so you're gonna have to start going door to door selling knives to people.
What?
And I said,
oh God,
that is the weirdest thing. I don't feel comfortable telling you, like, if they let us in their house, we had a whole kit that we could take with us, like vegetables, a piece of rope, and whatnot, a banana and stuff, shit like that. And so we could show how heavy duty these knives were. When I found that, because like we had to go for a hiring process, and then they called us back, be like, okay, now go in for like a month-long training course. I was like, okay. So then I did that, and then for the entire, I didn't do the whole. I lasted a week because I found out it's door to door selling knives. So I was like, I don't want to do that. That's weird. That's sketchy. I don't want to go into somebody's.
That's some old school
somebody's
shit.
house.
Oh my God.
This was like in 2011 when I graduated high school. Yeah, we're really old, stream. But it's just like we had to show them how sharp our knives was, and I remember the selling point is that you get free knives every 3-4 years as a replacement.
Was it called Cutco?
Yeah, that was my. No, it was like a Vector something.
Oh my God!
Being like a weird like.
Yeah, Vector marketing. Yeah, Vector Cutco.
Yeah.
This is crazy. That's like
sure,
for later, fam.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That was like the weird. It's cool now, but doing it, I was like, my whole thing was like, it's more than minimum wage, and when you're graduating high school, summer, is the youngest you'll ever be, and like you have so much money, so you can spend on beer and stuff, right? So it's like the whole thing that sold me was the fact that it had a crazy amount of money, but then I realized, wait, I gotta have awkward conversations to people that are gonna close the door because I used to sell papers, like deliver papers, and it was like, okay, fucking,
Sell
I hated
papers.
that. I don't want to do. I mean, deliver them, but like, I don't want to do that again. Shit, that was my
Wild.
That's a crazy one.
urge.
That's a
Yeah.
crazy one right there, buddy. What was like when you delivered papers? If you were fine with that stuff, what was the difference between that and going door to door to sell knives?
The selling knives part, I think. I don't want to sell
I
people
guess
knives.
it's the particular product.
Yeah, it's like delivering papers was cool. Was like people deliver paper on their kids. People read paper. If they want knives, they go to like a store or they order it online or some shit.
All right.
I don't think it was out of place kind of to me selling knives, but there were people that made like thousands of dollars selling knives, and they're like
Yeah.
their faces were like plastered on like the best employee. It was like ultra capitalist too, which was
It
kind of
sounds
funny.
very close to a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Now that yeah, it does.
And that's what
Yeah, it
all the
does,
Google
but
search results say too. It sounds awfully close to it.
again, me graduating, I was like what, 18, 19?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? A pyramid scheme? What the hell is that? Oh, pyramid? That sounds cool. I like pyramids.
Oh my
Yeah.
Wine Mom, what about you? What's
Yeah.
a wacky position that you've filled for somebody's benefit?
Honestly, I've not had
I'm just-
like a weird job. I've just had shitty jobs. Like I worked at a dog kennel once.
That's a weird job for many people.
It's not that weird. You just clean up dog poop.
I mean, and you're working with dogs too,
Yeah.
man. Come on.
It's just fun. I worked at a portrait studio. That was fun. I worked in
That's
a
cute.
clothing store. I worked in a beauty store. Like, I haven't really had weird jobs. I did one I wouldn't say telemarketing job. I wouldn't call it a telemarketing job, but I worked for the government in a roundabout way. And it was the worst job ever.
I would never have the patience for that. I
made it
Yeah, so good.
3 weeks, and I had a complete mental breakdown. And I was like, not for me. Quitting.
Yeah, there's something about a monotonous sort of work culture that kind of like throws me off, I guess.
Honestly,
I don't like that.
for me, it was just the fact that, like, because this is the thing, when you work in any kind of like telemarketing or phone-based customer service industry, they don't hire appropriate people for positions. They hire teenagers and then promote them very slowly throughout the years to positions they don't deserve because they're too immature to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've never had to
Okay.
have like any real life experience. Because this is the thing, all the people who were my managers had been working at that company for 10 years, and they were all like younger than me, maybe a little bit older than me, and they all had no real job experience, and they were just promoted to high level positions really fast, and then thought that they were better than everyone else when they were like actually just idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember like literally having a conversation with a manager being like, how the fuck are you a manager? Because you were actually an idiot. Like, you're actually an idiot. Like, you're actually the dumbest person I've ever spoken to in my life. Like, I don't understand how you are in charge of this team.
I feel like you would
Cognitive
This is
understand.
one mom talking to a group of children.
Honestly.
Yeah. As someone who's like a people manager, Wine Mom, I feel like you understand this, that lately I've been observing and intrigued by how many people can make it to like a manager level position and have
With
no
nothing.
sort of no people training. Like they weren't
No.
trained on how to manage people. It's like,
I mean, it's not even so much that's what's like, because I've bounced around a lot from job to job, and like I'm the kind of person, like, I advance quickly in whatever job I get. I get a job within a year, I'm already advancing to something else, because that's just how I work. Maybe I think it's more so less about quality of work and more so about I'm willing to take on more burden just to get shit done. Who knows? Maybe they think I bring quality. But it's like I managed
Maybe you just built different.
right.
Yeah.
And it's like I managed an entire team of adults at the age of like 20. I think I was like 23 or 22, managing an entire team of adults. And it's like I was the youngest person there, but I was still able to like do a job properly and manage these people. And that was like from going from experience to experience and not just getting gifted a position because I worked there for 6 to 12 months, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah, and
weird to
see-
see people just like zero, like literally I can't even explain to you how zero functionality there was.
And that experience there, though, gave you the people skills to be a more effective manager overall, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what
mean,
I think
well,
a lot of people
what-
are lacking, is that added skills that you developed.
Well, let's just say I have the skills, but I have zero desire to ever hold that position again. I do not want to manage a team because people are dumb. I don't have the patience for it. I don't want the responsibility. It's like even the job that I'm at now, somebody made some joke about, oh, we need to get you a key. And I literally looked at them and I was like, I absolutely do not want that level of responsibility here.
Yeah.
Never again do I want to be a fucking key holder, and no.
And like I think it like follows a lot of like what Bailey is kind of dealing with, like the reason why you don't want to do like the more like responsible stuff is like you have to deal with like incompetent people essentially.
Here's
like,
the here's the
Mm.
real thing. Here's the real thing. We force kids, right, to get jobs as soon as they reach like, 16 to 18.
13.
We want kids to get a job. And a lot of times the jobs that are available to us are customer service based jobs. Do you even understand how much trauma comes from working a customer service job? I've never experienced more person to person trauma than I have ever experienced working in a customer service position. I had a girl literally crying and throwing up because I folded a t-shirt after she had touched it, and she said that I was following her around the store and accused her of stealing when I literally just folded a t-shirt because she made a mess of the display. Like literally absolutely bawling her eyes out and throwing up at the front of the store.
I get you. I was a bar manager, so I've seen the world of it.
That was so traumatic. Like so traumatic. And it's just like
I mean, yeah.
I don't know I don't know. Customer service is not a place for children. I'm just going to say that. It's not a place for young people to learn how to have a job. There has to be a different system.
Oh, bro, when I was 14, I had the owner of the restaurant yelling at me because I'm not doing my job well enough because I don't understand what it's like to have to pay bills. I was like, well, why the fuck why am I getting this paycheck from you? Why should I come in tomorrow? Like, what?
Right.
All right, I don't got any bills then. All right, find a new busboy then, dingus.
Well, and because here's another thing too. So this has become not what Razzle wanted it to be. So
I mean, it personally does. It always ends up being something else. So it just helps me.
So I'll tell you about this job that I got, and I'll tell you how I got the job and some of the experiences I had within the job. So I went to school for hair, as you guys know, and then finding a job as an assistant in a salon is extremely difficult because the requirements they have for you they're not realistic when you're just coming out of school. So it takes a while to find someone who's willing to hire you. So after I finished hair school, I was like, let me just get a little, shitty temporary work at the mall job. I was like, I want to work in a clothing store because I want a discount so I can get some clothes for when I go to a salon, right? That was my goal. Okay. So at the time, I had pink hair. And I went to the interview, and the girl absolutely loved me. She was like, I want to hire you on the spot, but I have one problem. And she was like, it's the fact that you have pink hair.
Yeah.
And so the hair was not changing. I was not changing the hair. That was not going to happen. I was at that age where I was like, this is how I come, either take me or not. And so what ultimately what got me the job is I just said to her, I'm like, if you think the color of my hair disqualifies me for this job, then you're going to lose out on a significantly great candidate, and I'm sorry for you. Called me 20 minutes later and I got the job. So that's a lesson in confidence. You have to be confident when people say things like that to you, especially if you're alternative in any degree. You need to have confidence to tell people, I'm sorry that you're willing to lose out on a good opportunity by hiring me, because she almost did. Anyways, so she was the manager and she had an assistant manager that worked there. This assistant manager, first of all, she's like a 40-something-year-old woman working in a teenager's clothing store in the mall. Okay? Literally has the biggest ego I've ever seen in my entire life. Literally the biggest ego ever. And we had gotten into a huge fight, and this was like just before my lunch break. And so she's like, well, you can go on your lunch break. After we had this big fight, like, bitch, yeah, I'm going on my lunch break. I don't know why you think you're giving me permission. So
I'm just picturing one mom.
right.
Like,
so I went on my lunch break and I called my mom and I was like, yeah, Mom, like, I'm quitting this job. Like, this is the last day for me. Like, I'm not coming back. Like, I have 3 days off after this and I ain't going to be here. At that time, I was already working part-time at the salon, and my boss was waiting for me to ask for full-time. So it wasn't that big of a deal. I could quit the job easy. So I went back into the store. And I went into the back room and I started packing all my stuff. And I guess she had decided in the time that I was on my lunch break that she was going to send me home. Mind you, she's the assistant manager, and she's making a big mistake because the manager that works there absolutely loves me. She happened to be cousins to somebody who was a really good friend of my grandmother's. So she liked me even more. So this woman's just making mistake after mistake by coming after me. So I go in and like I said, I guess she decided she was going to send me home. So I'm already packing up my stuff. She comes into the back room. She whips open the door and she's like, you can go home. And I was like, I am going home. She was like, well, you can take the garbage out when you're on your way out. I said, girl, you think I'm taking the garbage out? You're mistaken. And I left. I took my stuff and I left. And I said, I won't be seeing you again.
I will not be seeing you again. We are now in
I
Downton
won't
Abbey.
be seeing you again. I won't be taking out the garbage. I don't know what you think this is. You are disrespecting me. Because it was like, girl, you're disrespecting me. You think I'm going to take the garbage out?
Yeah.
Sweetheart, you are confused. You do not know me. You do not know a wine mom. Okay? Don't make mistakes. So anyway, so I left. And then I didn't show up to my next shift, right? Because like I told you, I quit. And the manager called me like begging for me to come back. And so I told her all about her employee. I just said, look, girl, this manager you have hired here, this 40-year-old woman who has a power trip over teenagers, she's got to go because you're going to keep losing employees if this is the rate that you have it. Like, not going to happen.
That's every customer service job.
But this is what I mean. If I was younger, do you know how much PTSD you would have from that situation? Like a 40-year-old woman literally attacking you because of bullshit?
Because as kids, you don't know any better. If an adult is talking to you, you see that as an authoritative.
Exactly. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem because she started as a regular employee there. And she worked her way up to a management position. So it's once again somebody who was a low person on the totem pole who's deciding to take out the fact that they had to be a low person and they were mistreated. They decide to treat their staff the same way.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
And that's traumatic for teenagers.
Yeah.
I was 14 getting yelled at by owners of restaurants. It sticks with you. It's interesting because you have to learn how to navigate those conflicts. Like, I wasn't sure what to do, right?
This is the thing, right?
Shaped into a good blood belly.
Well, this is it, right? That's the experience I had. But then I had a friend who worked at the EB Games, and he started there as a teenager and worked his way up to a manager and then eventually a regional manager. Yeah. And he was the most loved manager. because he didn't treat people like shit because he was treated like shit. So instead he chose to do it differently. So it
I
just goes to
agree.
show, like, you never know what you're going to get. And that's why I really think any kind of customer service where you got young people in management positions, ugh.
But that's what I'm trying to goes back to. It's a nuanced conversation because it's about you need to gain those people skills from outside environments, right? Like just because you're sitting there and you sit there, you work at Abercrombie and Fitch. You work at Abercrombie and Fitch for 10 years, you're not going to get
Yeah.
any diverse work experience to be able to understand how to deal with these people and develop those skills.
Not
from a
at
manager's
fucking all.
perspective or as a team
Yeah.
member.
Not at all.
So, it's kind of like, yeah, like I haven't really worked in retail service or like customer service before, so it's like all of this stuff is like uncharted territory for me. So the closest thing I've come to it is like working nights at Superstore, where I would help the last customers before we close the store and work at night, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't that bad, but yeah, I see what you're saying. There's no room for growth in that in the industry, unfortunately.
No.
And
I mean, like,
yeah.
I'll say Walmart tries, but
To a degree.
Hmm?
To a degree.
It's still
Yeah, I
Walmart.
mean,
We're still talking Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you're right.
They're
But
still
they
going to
do
make you sing
offer-
a song in the morning together.
And not pay you well. That's why they can keep the shit low.
But they do hire their younger clientele. They do get their clientele. Their younger employees. They do give them more opportunities as far as like internships, and like there is grants and stuff that they offer for you.
Become part of
I
the
know.
machine. Join us.
I know, but I'll say, like, one of my girlfriends worked there, and she worked there as like literally the like 2 shifts a week, and then became a floor manager. And she was able to go to school, and they were super accommodating of her schedule and all of that stuff. I mean, it's changed now with the pandemic and everything, but it's like at the time, like Walmart was the place to get a job if you could.
Yeah, and like like big department stores will like just hire as many people as you can.
Because then you could
if you
fly
could,
under the
at the
radar
time.
too. That's the thing. If you're a young person and you're looking for a job, get a job at a very busy grocery store, like a big chain grocery store where they have tons of employees. Like, look for a place that's got tons of employees. You don't want to work somewhere where you're like number 4 on the team, because then you're going to
Why?
literally experience some of the most traumatic things you'll ever experience.
I don't know. I disagree personally. I think it's good to have some responsibility so that you can
No.
understand how.
No.
Fuck responsibility.
No, because here's the thing. I worked in a beauty supply place. I was one of 5 employees, and I never was not on call. I literally got called for every single shift that people didn't show up for. I never had a weekend because nobody wanted to work on the weekends. I always got the shitty evening shift.
Which is fair.
Whereas if you go to a bigger team, there's more flexibility on schedule. You'll probably see a lot more daylight. You'll not always be the first person called. You won't carry as much guilt for not going into work when they are short team member.
You don't feel like part of the team, the work
Break down,
culture.
Bailey. Break down, Bailey. Kidding.
You don't feel like part of the team. You can't sit there. You can't develop a work culture. Like you're not developing a career. You're not developing independent skills, right? There's like gives and takes for both. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I think there's also benefits to the opposite perspective. Like you're giving more pressure and taking on more responsibility, but at the same time, that does have its benefits.
I feel like if you're a teenager and it's a part-time job, you don't need to work in a small team. Just work your big team job and get the fuck out of there as soon as you can. That's it.
It isn't about
I hear what you're
building
saying.
a career at that point, yeah.
Like, I hear what you're saying, but as someone who has exclusively worked jobs with small teams, like I've literally never had a team bigger than 10. Too much trauma. Way too much trauma. Way too much responsibility. No respect. No freedom. The amount of accountability was disgusting because I got stuck taking accountability for things that had nothing to do with me. Things that I didn't even do, that I wasn't even part of because I wasn't there. And then because I'm the one of 2 team members there the next day, I got to take the responsibility.
I don't deny your experience is valid. That's fucked. That's no fun. But that's why I encountered a razzle. That's why I think it's important. You should be thinking about your career because it's about having as many skills that you can to get it done.
Yeah,
Not
but like
necessarily.
I'm saying,
So,
at
if
the age of 14, you're not really thinking about it. You're just thinking about like having money in your in like spending money in your
what
pocket,
I'm
right? So
saying,
you're
I had
that's
the opposite. I was concerned about getting as many
okay. Well,
employable skills as I could. You know what I mean? And there are other people
yeah,
there who are looking to get
yeah.
diverse jobs. You know what I mean?
But generally speaking, that's what kids did. I know a lot of kids who thought like I did, like if I have X amount of money, I can just spend it, right? Nobody like sure, there's gonna be people who are thinking about their career at a young age, but the majority of the kids were like not really. They didn't even understand a concept of a career unless it was told to them. You know what I
My
mean?
whole thing is like when you're so young and you work a job with a small team, like I'll expose, I worked at Sally Beauty Supply. Okay? There was a manager, an assistant manager, and 3 girls. That was it. 5 of us that would work interchangeably in the day. 2 people in the morning, 3 in the evening. If one person didn't show up for work, somebody would have to come in and cover that shift, and it would be one of the other 2 employees that weren't working that day. And it's just like my days off were never a real day off because I would always get called in halfway through the day, or I would be told the night before that they need me to cover a shift. It was just like, and then when somebody goes on vacation, everybody has to pick up the slack for the person who goes on vacation. So I'm just saying, when you're young and you're just starting a job, you don't need that amount of responsibility. It's way too overwhelming when you're just starting to work. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair.
I I feel like we also need to revamp the workers' rights. Um,
Well,
this is leftist Reza talking now. We need to get shit back in the hands of the workers and rise up.
I just think about like how toxic these are, like jobs. Like I remember being like a senior employee and all of the other employees would be like, "Well, we just need to hire somebody so that they're the lackey and like they have to do all the shitty shifts we don't want to do." Like that literally
But
was part of
not
the
every
culture there.
but not every work, like even you're saying like you're working for a salon that's part of a larger conglomerate, right? Like maybe you would feel more invested if it was like an independent business, you know what I mean? Like there are
I worked for a
alternative
small salon.
variables, you know what I mean?
Well, if you're talking about salon, I've worked for a corporate salon and I've also worked for a small business salon, and both of them were horrible in the same way.
That's fair. Okay,
Yeah.
touche. Touche.
I'm just saying, based off
Love you,
my work
Bailey.
experience, right? Based off my work
Love you.
experience. If I worked in a small team, like, because I know you've worked mostly like restaurant stuff. If I worked in a small restaurant team, maybe I would have been better. But I just think in the environments that I worked in, it was like, you're the newest employee, so you have to do all the things that nobody else wants to do. And you also have to take all the shitty shifts. And you also have to work late at night. And it was just like annoying.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when you relate to the restaurant industry, in most cases, you have, like, cash incentive also, right? So at least I'm
Yeah,
getting extra money for dealing with more of the bullshit, right?
exactly.
So that is a
Exactly.
big contingent to when you bring in that into the combo for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Weren't
know.
you the one telling me that Bailey was the one telling me that in restaurants fucking the tip pool shouldn't be spread equally because of the work that's being put into it. So why are like
Because, well,
the
it depends what you're
waiters?
talking.
Was that
When
you
you're
telling me that, or was that somebody
Well, it
else?
depends what you're talking about when you're talking about the tip pool. But in most cases, it's like
Equal,
you
right?
it depends on how your restaurant does it. Typically, it's that every server is going to give 5 to 10% of what they make tips, and they all give it back, and then it gets spread equally between the kitchen, right? Now, that's the thing. A lot of people argue that like the chefs should get a much larger percentage of that. Now, I would personally agree.
Yeah.
And especially now with Uber, right? Like the bus boys, all the little lackeys that, like Wine Mom is saying, that are the lower of the totem pole, are the ones who got to answer the calls and fucking sweep up the vomit and do all the crappy jobs. Like they should definitely, now that the pandemic has happened, it's not, I would say, fairly distributed because the servers aren't just like bringing in hundreds of dollars cash all the time anymore.
Well, I
Sure.
think the tip system in general needs to be improved. I think like because to your point of like, oh, the chefs should receive more tips. I hear you, but respectfully disagree. I think that it's the restaurant's job to pay the chefs more money because
Yes.
the people who are out there being shit on by some shitty customer who's mad that their food was a little bit cold, I think deserves the tip. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
I'm
that's fair.
saying this as somebody who worked in the salon and would watch my boss pocket $100 tip when I did 90% of the work. That was very frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, you mixed the color formula and you did the haircut, but I literally did everything else. I massaged the
Yeah.
client. I booked the appointment. I took the money. I, did all of I applied the color. I did all of that stuff.
My hot take would be that if restaurants gave their workers actual appropriate livable wages, like
Yeah.
not minimum wage but livable wage, tips wouldn't be that heavy. They would still be there, but it wouldn't be a a reliant now. Like I
It wouldn't
understand that.
cause
Yeah,
it wouldn't cause as much animosity between team members if
that too.
tips and stuff were done
That too.
differently.
Yes, but I'm just saying that like I was reading somewhere, I think 70 or 80% of the wait staff rely on tips, right? And
Yep.
that's a pretty big number. So if restaurants paid their workers again a livable wage, I think that problem would start to solve itself out over time.
And then
Mm-hmm.
you're also
But I
putting
don't.
a lot of onus on a restaurant owner who has a profit margin that isn't definable on a monthly basis to be able to afford that
Hey,
fair minimum wage.
you got to start somewhere, Bailey.
Well,
I'm
I
not
mean,
saying
minimum
everybody.
Well,
is
that's why
minimum.
my
It's not
family's
even
business
livable.
went out of business. So, like it's like it's
I mean, the cost of living
impacts,
is
right?
has increased for
Exactly.
sure.
That's the
On top
thing.
of
That's
that,
the, yeah.
so like yes, I understand what you're saying, but like they shouldn't hire or be a restaurant if they can't give that cost of
Exactly.
living. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Love you, Bailey.
It's
I'm
hard to
always
say.
so iffy there. It's such a
No,
cycle because then it's
well,
like
no,
because the
no,
cost of
no,
living goes up, but then you're sitting there in a neighborhood where it's like could be getting gentrified, right? And it's like, what if the cost
Mhm.
of living going up in your neighborhood wasn't your fault, and now all of
Yeah.
a sudden your business is fucked?
It's a yeah. It's if it's a give and take. I think, but I don't know. I'm talking if we were in a utopia, more or less, the
Yeah.
one that Comrade Bernie Sanders would have brought in. But wishful
Well,
thinking.
I just think like there is no job that should pay less than minimum. That shouldn't exist. You should
Yes,
never be
I
paid
agree.
less than minimum, no matter
Yeah.
what the
I
position
agree.
is. But
Yeah.
I
I
think like
agree.
in industries such as like the hair industry, um, and the food industry, like the whole imbalance of how tips work and the fact that like there is no real system that's genuinely fair with any team, it's difficult because I couldn't imagine being a server, doing all this work, earning my $100 tip, and then I gotta go split it with the team. I'd want to punch somebody in the mouth. Like, I did all that work to get that $100 tips, and now I gotta share it with Sally, who doesn't even show up on time half the time? Forget it.
You know what would help that, Wine Mom?
Punching Sally in the
Mandated.
face?
Okay, that too, but mandated therapy. Like where you could actually go into it and not worry about having to pay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
I
I
feel you there.
Welcome to the Socialist podcast, where we talk about leftist ideas.
Do we
Just
want to
like
talk
we
about
have.
Bailey's Odd Jobs, or do we want to move
Yeah,
on
go
to
ahead.
Am I
Talk
the
about
No,
Asshole?
odd
I'm
jobs.
kidding. I'm sure.
I don't know. When I was a kiddo, I did a lot of weird jobs as a kid that now that I look back on was like, oh, I was used as labor a lot.
It was building worlds for Bailey.
Yeah.
I had to demolish the interior of a hospital wing with someone before when I was like 12.
Cool.
So I just had like a big ass hammer, like breaking down walls and shit. That was a weird experience. My friend almost killed himself with a vent. That was entertaining.
Jesus.
That was a good odd job.
But did you have a good time?
Right.
I did. I got to smash a bunch of walls. You're 12, and you give
Yeah.
them an empty building, and you say, take sledgehammer. Just the walls
Oh.
need to go down. Everything needs to break. You're like, all right, this is the best
Yeah.
job ever.
Were you on that K when you were doing that?
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
when I was
He was
12.
12.
Yes.
Knowing Bailey, I don't know.
The second weirdest was probably just because of like my family owning indoor and outdoor soccer field. So it was like all the odd jobs associated with that, like fucking dealing with animals in a barn. If watering an outdoor soccer field by hand, bro, it's, oh my god, dog. You gotta carry a sprinkler around for hours. And then I used to have to mow all the fields next to the golf course. That was my odd job. That was not fun. Not fun.
Bailey has got some PTSD from
The
a
scariest
couple
job
jobs.
I had probably was I used to paint houses. And I was the painting crew chief. So I was in charge. I was like 21 in charge of like a bunch of 18 and 16-year-olds painting houses with like 3-story ladders. And no one had straps. No one was roped up.
Good.
I would just be on like the 3rd story of a house, just like painting windows and like
God.
fixing the trim and like hiding mistakes that people made.
Just
that
Bailey
was
things.
a very
Honestly.
chaos-inducing life experience. What I wanted to ask through going through those odd jobs, I wanted to ask you too as a fun, goofy one I added on. And all those shitty jobs you've done in your life, what was the worst smelling task you had to do?
Oh, easy. Fucking cutting the cantaloupe that was like a month old, apparently. It looked like it was a month old. And every, like you know how cantaloupes sort of implode on itself when it's like kind of like soggy? It did that, and it let out like what your organics bin would smell like in a closed room.
Gross.
It's disturbing. I had to, when my family bought the restaurant, it was another family restaurant before it, and then it was a KFC. And then we
Nice.
bought the restaurant, and the people were like, that bucket, there was a garbage can in the back. They're like, it has been there for 8 years or like 7 years. So just,
Ew.
and then we bought the restaurant. My mom was like, you got to deal with that. So I had to, like, a 7-year-old trash can, like, untouched. The weather's getting to it. There's animals in town. Unspeakable horrors.
God,
Like,
yeah.
it was
Ew.
just
Is this
pure
Alberta?
ammonia. No, this was in Toronto. This was in a back alley,
Hmm.
just a garbage can in the back alley behind the restaurant that was so gross that no one wanted to touch it for 7 years.
That's pretty metal.
Yuck.
It was the most pungent smell I've ever had in my life. It was toxic. It stuck to my shoes. I had to throw out my clothes. And this was coming from a kid who had to go to the dump all the time as like a little boy. I used to go to the dump as a child, so I could deal with gross smells. And I was like, no.
No.
But
I mean,
why, Mom? Wine Mom? What you got?
So it's a toss up between these two things. And I guess it depends on how much you hate one smell versus the other. So when I worked at the dog run or like the dog kennel, the worst was going out with a hose and scrubbing all the dog shit out of the cement run that they would put them in. That was pretty horrible, especially in the summer when it had been sitting out there for an hour, just fuming. It's nasty.
Oh my god.
So that
This is
or
gross.
or the fresh smell of like super old school, dirty, nasty perm, which literally smelled
Ugh.
like puke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That shit would get in your eyes, on your clothes, on your hands, in your hair, like this. Ugh, barf.
This sucks.
That's
I don't like this
gross.
podcast anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What a way to end it. What a way to end it.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I
we're
like how
moving.
like
Getting there.
mine's tame, and my mom is just like it opened a portal to hell. And
Yeah.
that's how bad it was.
Like literally, this is because this is when I say to you like the trauma of coming that comes from like working these jobs is like the hair, like the established stylists, they wouldn't apply their own perms. So let's say a stylist had 4 perms that day, you got to do 4 barf jobs. It's horrible, and it's like, ugh. And then I think also what's also really nasty is cleaning up like that nasty hair that sits in the sink at the end of the day, because no stylist ever took the hair out of the sink after they washed their client. They would just leave it in there. So the assistant would be cleaning up like 4 clients worth like of hair, just fistfuls of hair, like filled with hair dye and perm solution and conditioner, and it was like a full barf fest.
Oh my god.
We should have a segment on our or anything for our thing.
It was literally to the point where I refused to take it out of the sink. Like the other assistant had to do it because I literally would vomit. Like I could not do it.
Oh,
What's the segment?
it should be like, well, hairstylist nightmares with wine mom instead of kitchen nightmares.
Bro, there is a
God.
lot that comes along with that, let me tell you.
Yeah.
That's jokes. I'm just trying to think top of my. I didn't have. Definitely as a restaurant, working in a restaurant at 14 and 15, I had to do a lot of really lackey jobs. It was like the basement would be flooding and they'd be like, here, your job is to just sit down here for 6 hours and mop this basement. This is your job for the night.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because the water would keep coming in. So my job was water come in, you mop, put in bucket, throw outside. Water just for 6 hours. Just 6 hours of mopping.
I had the polar opposite of like I also had the polar opposite of that. I worked in the laundry section of the Hilton, and it smelled like heaven all day, just like a chemical heaven though, not of actual heaven, because of all like the shit they would put in the thing.
So I had to
do
do when I worked in the salon. We had to do laundry, but the laundry that we did just smelled like mold because it was all wet towels that had been sitting there all day.
Oh yeah.
All piled on top of each other with a whole mix of different chemicals and shit. Also, human beings are disgusting, and any kind of customer service job you have to do, humans are just the filthiest things to exist. They're so disgustingly dirty. Like working in a place where you have to clean a bathroom or you have to take turns cleaning a bathroom, no, I literally remember being like, I will never piss in this bathroom because there's no way I'm cleaning it up. I literally will never use this bathroom the entire time I work here because I'm not cleaning this up.
No, that was, as the manager, that was my trick. I would do the washrooms, but then I'm doing the washrooms, so you gotta fucking, there's favors to be made up here for the fact that I'm doing the washrooms constantly.
Oh, no.
Those words.
Listen, even with my bathroom here at my house, I'm telling you, if I go into somebody's home and their toilet, like the bowl of their toilet is stained, like, and you can tell that like they don't clean their toilet regularly, I have a visceral reaction. My body cannot handle it. Like I cannot do a dirty toilet. I can't. Like I can't. I literally I bleach my toilet so regularly. Like, I absolutely not. It has to be. I want to be able to make soup in that toilet. I'm telling you right now.
All right, so anybody, if you have Y mom come over, you better be
Bleach
like
your
you
toilet,
need to
please.
make sure it's not even bleach your toilet. Get a new one, because just get a new one, because there's no way in hell a used toilet is gonna have soup eaten out of it.
Listen.
America standard the shit out of your washroom.
Yeah, Raza,
That's
for
the
the
name brand of toilets.
checklist for our live podcast, can you add to buy bleach to the list for me, please?
All right, word.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my god. All right, I got it. I
Are you
got
telling me you have to
Oh,
clean the
that's
toilet, Bailey?
that says a lot right there. That says a lot. I took dumps in that toilet, man.
I washed I washed the toilet. I washed the toilet. I'm fucking around. Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay, you
I
dorks.
bet
All
he's
right.
not. After stream, he's gonna be like, shit.
I've been a bit lazy this past month, but I'm usually very good. But I've been moving, so I have a valid excuse.
Okay, but like, here's
How's
the
this new
thing.
toilet? Oh, sorry.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing with this studio, right? Because I know that like we're gonna be going to the studio. I've been waiting for you to fully be finished moving, because once you have it so that like once I come to the I'm just preparing you, Bailey. When I come to the studio, the first thing I'm doing is gutting that bathroom. It is
All right.
literally
Or
getting
she
bleached from
eats
one
in it.
side of the wall to the other. I'm literally not joking. It is getting
All right.
full bleached.
All right.
If you
It'll
want
be a
me,
short.
if I'm gonna ever spend a night in that studio, there is no fucking way. That bathroom has to be literally sterilized.
All right, you got a deal. You got a deal. I can collaborate on that one.
Yeah, it's just
Wait,
a
wait.
bathroom, because a bathroom for me is supposed to be like your spa clean place. You know, like when you come home after work, you take your for me, because I'm a woman, you take your makeup off, you do your
Oh, okay. I was
skincare.
gonna say.
I'm not trying to go in there with no.
It's about
See,
dumping the waste, you know? It's not about it's
Nope.
about waste
doesn't argue it,
deferral.
Nope.
Bailey. Apparently, doesn't
It's a
argue
spa
it.
place. It's a spa place.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
For us men, it's where we let out all of our toxins. Everything
Yeah.
Listen,
just comes out. Yeah.
I dated a guy once, and I remember going to his house where they had two bathrooms, and
Right.
like I just like the upstairs bathroom was literal nightmare fuel for me. Like literal nightmare fuel. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, there was always like beard hairs or hairs everywhere. There was toothpaste all over the counter, the floor, the walls. There was poo-poo stains on the toilet everywhere. It was just like, how did you get poo-poo stain there? Like, what are you doing in here? Like, I just no.
Oh, I just got invaded by another sniper.
I've had
Yeah.
bad experiences in bad houses like that. Sorry, Raza, go.
No, I did too, dude, and it's because like again, like fortunately, like at people because I'm a dude, I have a variety of ways of doing this, but generally I like planting myself and bracing for impact. But
God.
it's like it's like yeah, it is kind of weird when like you go to a house and like it feels like the washroom is like not hasn't been looked at since they have moved into that place.
I just like a dirty bathroom, because it's not just that it's a dirty bathroom, it's that it's human bodily excrements. That's what it is. It is stuff that has come out of your poopy hole, and this is a bath like I can't,
Name of a podcast, the same shit, different day.
bro. I can't.
Hey!
Literally, because I listen, I clean that bathroom so much. All my friends, you can ask them, they come over and I'm like, I'm sorry, my bathroom is such a mess, because bathroom to me is never clean. Even I try my hardest, I still feel like it's never clean enough. I'm always apologizing.
It's okay. Just let it. It's okay. You do a good job.
No.
It's as clean as you can get it, and that's good. That's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's a metaphor for life. Your toilet is
No,
a
it needs
metaphor
to
for
be
life.
perfect. No, it needs to be perfect.
It will never be
I
perfect.
can't handle
though.
it. I can't handle it.
It
Anyways,
will be close
that's
to
my
perfect.
anxiety. Listen, I'm telling you, that's the number one thing that is making me scared to live with a man is the bathroom. Cause I'll kill him. I will kill him. I will. I'm telling you, I will.
I'm getting the treatment. I'm learning about hairs that I leave that I had no idea existed, man. I'm learning about all kinds of mess I leave that I had no idea happened in the washroom.
I'm telling you, I would kill you.
Wait until
everywhere.
Wait until your mommy stops cleaning up the hair out of the tub after you shower. There's so much hair in the tub that I didn't know existed, bro. There's hair in the tub all the fucking time. You can't stop it.
Bailey. Well, I mean, sure.
I'm just saying, whatever man lives with me, I feel sorry for him because he's gonna have to have his own bathroom on the other side of the planet because it ain't happening in mine.
That would be a funny priority to have for moving in with a partner. We must have separate bathrooms.
Separate bathrooms. Do not touch mine. Do not go into mine. Do not look at mine. Do not look at the door. Don't even think about the fact
breathe
that
on it.
If I ever found out that they used my bathroom, it's over.
Oh boy. I'm taking the washroom with me.
Does the cat get a bathroom pass?
Well, I have to share my bathroom with her, but it causes me the most anxiety sharing a bathroom with her. I'm serious.
So essentially it's any being.
Do you know how many
washroom.
Do you know how many times I have changed the type of litter that I use for her just because of the mess that she leaves in the bathroom? I have tried every type of litter. I have done wood litter. I have done regular litter. I've done the soft pebbles. I've tried every litter. Right now I use this stuff called Yesterday's News, which is just like pellets, but it's newspaper pellets. It's been the best thing I've used so far, but she still manages to get the pellets outside of the box. It's just...
You're never gonna be able to win. It's a never-ending battle. The cat litter box. How did we get on the cat litter? How did we get here?
Because you asked if she gets a pass in the bathroom, and the answer is no. I take her. Listen, when she leaves a mess in the bathroom, I literally bring her into the bathroom and put her face in it. This is your mess. Why did you do this? Now mommy has to clean it up.
She's a cat. It's litter. She's not gonna get it. It's
she knows.
Pebbles.
She knows.
Does she?
She knows.
For all she knows, you could basically a cat has one. It's just like if a other being has to clean up its poop. Come on, it's a cat doesn't. It's just like you clean my poop now. Respect me.
No, she knows. She knows.
Yeah, she's just looking at my mom like you're still gonna do it. So
you're still gonna do it. You're still gonna feed me. You're gonna feed me later. I see you. You're gonna feed me later.
I like this. That's jokes.
No, you're
I'm just.
You're kidding.
You know, like I know we were talking about jobs and stuff, but let me just give a little secret advice to men out there. Learn how to clean a bathroom, okay? Just do yourself a favor and learn how to clean a fucking bathroom. Please.
It's valid. It's good advice. Good pro tips. Where do they start? If you're giving men's bathroom cleaning tips, what's step number 1?
Wipe the sink down. And you know when you go to the bathroom, you use the toilet, put the bowl spray in the toilet, okay? And scrub it. And also wipe the bottom of the toilet seat.
No, many mans miss the bottom.
On the rim.
Under the toilet seat too.
Bro. Actually, that's okay. I will say underneath. So you know when men come to the bathroom, they flip up the toilet seat and the lid, right, to go to the bathroom? So when women go pee, because we sit, there's splatter. That's just how it works. Not enough girls. I've gone to girls' houses. I've gone to girls' houses and not enough of them are lifting up that toilet seat and cleaning it. And it's like that's a big anxiety thing for me is I don't want a man to come to my house, lift up my toilet seat, and see pee-pee splatter on the toilet seat when he's trying to go pee. Yeah. That stresses me out. I don't want that. So I'm constantly wiping my toilet seat down. Mm-hmm. Like every 2 days, it's lifted and wiped.
It's only human. You know? Everybody poops.
No, you sound gross, Bailey.
No.
That's gross.
Not if
Oh
a guy,
my God.
if you go to a girl's house, Bailey, and you gotta touch her toilet and you lift it up and there's a bunch of like pee-pee stain, you're cool with that?
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on the human. Like I might be grossed out, but life happens.
Bailey,
You maybe you don't clean your toilet seat every 2 days, so
You're
maybe you just
traumatizing
didn't
me.
get to it this week.
This
You're
opens up a
traumatizing.
lot.
You're traumatizing
This
me.
opens up a lot.
Literally
What?
traumatizing me. Listen, I think about this
Girl,
all
I
the
like
time.
your pee stains.
I think about this all the time because Panda comes here a lot. And I'm always like, he must think that I am the nastiest girl in the world. Because I'm always like, okay, don't. When he comes, I have so much anxiety around the bathroom that I make every time he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, I say, flush the toilet before you open the lid. That's how much anxiety I have about bathrooms.
Right.
I literally, like,
But why?
I'm
What's the
wasting
worry?
water.
What happens?
Because it's like, what if I put hair or a Q-tip or
And
a
what
ball
does
up?
it matter?
What if your
What
shit
No.
she forgot to
do you
flush,
think
Bailey?
he's going
What
to come
if?
out? Do you think he's gonna come
Because
out
what if-
holding
what
this
if I
camera
was on
saying,
the
"What
phone?
is this?"
What if I was on the phone while I was going pee and I muted myself to go pee and then I didn't flush after I went pee? I think about that.
Not with us.
Listen,
You're still on the
But
call when you go pee.
I lived with somebody who would go number 2 at nighttime and then I would wake up in the morning and there would be number 2 in the toilet. Absolutely not. That
Yeah.
has completely traumatized me into my
That's
adulthood.
grossed me out too. Oh god. Yeah, that's grossed me out too. Where I'm
So
just like,
now
okay.
my
I don't
biggest
even stand there.
fear,
Just like close my eyes.
bro, my biggest fear is if I, for some reason, accidentally leave a number 2 in the toilet. That's, even though I'm so
Why, though?
vigilant about it, it's a big fear of like, what if I accidentally do that one day?
Is it
Yeah.
embarrassing?
Why don't you want to play with the poop in the toilet while I'm on?
Have you ever opened the toilet to a marinated number 2, Bailey? Have you?
It's gross.
And he
No,
just
I know.
fucking
I'm not
walks
It
denying
is
in.
it.
enough
He's like,
to make me
fucking
simply
walks
pass
in.
away.
No, I mean you. What are you scared of? You're terrified that someone's going to accidentally walk in on yours. Do you think they're going to look at you and be like, what do you think's going to happen?
They're gonna think I'm gross.
But poop is
And
like a normal body.
It's gross.
it is gross, but it's just like, oh, you left a poop. You pooped. Oh no, you're human. You pooped.
No.
It's
That's
ha, you
other
forgot.
shit.
Oh
That's
no,
it.
you pooped! You pooped!
No,
You
it's
pooped.
gross.
Oh, no.
This is just like the whole smell, the appearance, just the idea of a poop sitting in a toilet for longer than the 2 minutes.
Cleans too
No.
Sorry.
It's a no.
I get it. I'm just trying to think like maybe you should analyze why you're so worried about it. You know
Bailey,
what I mean?
you're telling me that if you went to a girl's house and there was a marinated poop in there, you wouldn't be like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I would make fun. I would make a joke. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna walk out like
You would
this is
make
cool.
You would make her uncomfortable though. You would make the person uncomfortable though.
This is what I
Come on.
mean.
Probably not if it was the first time. First time does make a big difference in the situation. But now you're talking. Wine Mom
There
here's
is
talking
no
about
amount
any
of time.
situation. You know.
There's no amount of times. You leave a dookie in the toilet, it's fucking over for you. I will never let you shit in my apartment again if you leave a dookie in the toilet. I will literally stand outside. I will literally stand outside the door and be like, no number 2s. I swear.
Now we know the prank, Raza. Write this down. Dookie.
Bro,
I'm not involved with this.
you guys will literally, like, you will kill me. You will literally kill me.
Because
Okay,
you pick up the
Raza,
poop
I've got a more
elaborate.
elaborate scheme. We're gonna have to train her cat to poop in the toilet and not flush it.
Okay, that would be a dream. I wish she would poop in the toilet because her poop smells and I hate scooping it out of the box. So, I wouldn't be mad about that.
Damn it.
Okay.
The plan backfired.
I don't. This is like two polar extremes of one. One's okay with a poop in the toilet, other one would do a backflip, and then there's like, I don't know what's going on.
If it's cat poo, I already have to physically get a scoop and scoop it out of the box.
So when you look at your own poop, you're just like, that is repulsive.
I don't look at my own poop.
Okay.
Not everyone looks at their
Unless
poop,
there's a
Raza.
reason.
All right. Sure.
If there's something wrong
Hey,
with my
I'm just
body
trying to
or
make
something, then I'll look.
your point, really, but
Bathrooms are just the worst part. Just having to go poop is just, and having to use a bathroom in that way, just all of that is just so traumatic. I hate it so much. I fucking hate that so much.
fucking bathrooms, how do they work?
Bro. Like
Magnets.
literally, I've never thought about it until this moment. I'm thinking about all the times that Panda comes over and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom," and I'm in another room and I'm like, "Flush the toilet first!" Like, how traumatic is that for him that every time he comes here he has to flush the toilet before he can go pee?
Oh my god! So it's every time.
Every time.
Interesting.
Every time I'm like,
Jeez.
"Flush the toilet before you use it," because
You know what?
I'm so paranoid.
It's probably more traumatic than if he were to find pee in the toilet.
I feel like you're just picking on me now.
No,
So
just
What a vomit! But what a
correlation.
vomit, though.
Okay, so I got a sidetrack. I got a sidetrack to get you riled up, Wine Mom. I didn't read the story, but judging by the headline, it's gonna get you riled
is this our
up.
Am I the
Maybe you
Asshole?
should
Yeah.
read the story.
Okay.
I maybe I should do more prep work. That's fair.
Yeah, maybe you
Am I-
should. Raza writes a script, and then we just wing it.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Raza says, "Am I the asshole for going on dates despite my daughter's objections? I'm
I
a
have a
single
kid
dad
now?
to my daughter who's about to turn 9. She means the world to me. Unfortunately, her mom is not in our lives. She cracked under the pressure of parenthood and left us about 7 years ago. Through the urging of my friends and family, I've begun dating again. Prior to all of this, I haven't dated since my daughter's mom. Everyone was kind of like, you owe it to yourself to get back out there and try again, etc., etc. I've been going on different dates the past few months, and my daughter's upset. What usually happens is I go on the dates on Saturday nights. It only makes things harder when she sees me start to prep to go out. I get lots of sad eyes and pouting. She just wants it to be her and I against the world. I tried to explain it to her as best I could that this is actually great for Dad. I make it a point to try and be home in time to tuck her in on my date nights, and on those nights, she's in no mood to be tucked in, or so much as look at me. Am I the asshole for going on dates despite my daughter's objections?
No.
Why, Mom?
No, he's not an
No?
asshole. The kid has to figure it out eventually. I think the problem, okay, as somebody who has a single parent who went on dates, I think it's more just about like being honest and open, and he's doing the right thing. I think it'll become a problem when you pick one to bring home. That's when you're going to have a real problem. So just enjoy this, not wanting to be tucked in shit, because this is nothing compared to what's about to come.
Yeah,
That's what I'm going to say.
I think that scans no matter the gender of kid, because that feels pretty relatable to me.
I think it's worse when you have a mom, because ain't no man good enough for your mother. I mean, men just aren't good in general, but not for my mom. So it's even worse. But I think like when you're, especially if it's just like you and your dad, it's going to be hard for her.
Yeah, it's a
He's
tricky dance.
Like it's going to get worse, bud. So just kind of like suck it up and deal with it.
Just coast it now, yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking deal with it now.
While she's young enough to get over it.
Why Mom said, fuck them kids.
I'm just gonna say, if he waits until she's older, it's gonna be just as, it'll probably actually be worse, because then you'll feel more comfortable bringing the person to the house, and then she's gonna really be nasty. So, I'll tell you from experience.
Valid. Raza, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of, I feel like you're like, it's like, you should, like what why Mom said, just the kid has to kind of like deal with it to a degree.
Yeah.
Or like, not to a degree, like to the whole sense of the word, because like they don't like, if it, I can't relate because both my parents are strong, but it's just like I feel like it's the dad's sort of like responsibility to like uh to figure out how he's gonna make her understand this, because I don't think it's gonna end. I think he's
Well,
just gonna stop.
exactly. Like the options are stop or hide it better. And it's like
Yeah.
neither of those are going to be healthy for either of you. If you stop, you're just going
Hmm.
to delay your opportunity to find someone. And like eventually the kid will get over it because they'll get a new mom and they'll be fine with it. Like I wouldn't say a new mom, but they'll be getting a new person in their lives that they can enjoy.
Hmm.
But also then you teach your child to be sneaky about relationships. And then, that's traumatizing when they find out that you've been lying and being sneaky to them about something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say? So I was trying to think back to personal experience, and I had a really uncomfortable first meeting for my stepdad because they wanted to do bowling, and that's not a fun way for an angsty teenager to meet a stepdad. What would you suggest as the optimal activity for introducing a datee
Golf.
to the child?
No
Golf.
activity.
Okay.
I
Just
think you should slowly introduce them as to like have them come to the house before you go out for the date. Very slow, small
Yeah.
introductions as your friend first before a relationship status.
Build
But
that
instead of being like, okay, you're going to meet your new
rapport.
dad. No.
so you got to bring daddy's friend around a couple times, then be like, "Oh yeah, we
So,
smooch."
okay, so
Okay, Kyle.
for me, I've met a few boyfriends of my mother's, and the best way that it's happened is, okay, so I had a stepdad for 5 years. And the introduction we had with him is he came over and played video games with us while my mom finished getting ready to go out. So he was there for 20 minutes. That was more than enough time for me to be like, okay, I kind of like this guy. He can come around again. And then the next
But
time it was another 20-minute interval, and it continued that way until it was like, oh, is he going to come over and hang out? And then he came and watched movies with us. So it was just very slow.
which is
I
fair
wouldn't
and
do a
Easing
whole
him.
event.
I like that, but wouldn't you still know what's good? You still know this person's
Yeah, I
coming
knew what was
over.
going on. I figured it out.
I guess you kids are unavoidable,
See,
eh?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
But also, you have to keep in mind, I'm a different kind of person when it comes to my mother. You guys know this. Like, everybody who's in my mom's life, specifically men, they have a very hard time. They have a very, very hard time. I'm not going to make it easy for you because if you think that she comes without me, you're mistaken. Sorry. I make it
I
difficult.
like how wine mom tests out these guys like they're used cars,
Yeah.
um, to see which one can get which one has the best, because they're all worn goods. Yeah. Sorry, that sounds
Stepdad
bad. I'm
test.
sorry.
We gotta create a stepdad test, a wine mom certified stepdad test with steps and procedures to be followed to verify whether or not your potential suitor will be a good stepdad.
I'm telling you, there is
Yeah,
no amount of it's never going to happen.
okay.
There's no amount of tests. It's just gonna have to either work or it's not gonna work.
So you're
So
saying every sort of relationship isn't in the
My
pornos?
mom, my mom has had one boyfriend that I liked. One boyfriend that I liked.
So okay, hold on. Does your mom, okay, when your mom would go out on these dates, would she? I assume she would keep in mind that you have to be saying like have to you would have to give her the green light, right? Is that what
No.
she's
So
thinking?
my mom is
Okay.
very much like me, and you guys know that I'm not running anything past anyone, and I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. So it's the pair of us are it's rough.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the thing is,
I
like,
like that.
I'm not afraid to say how I feel about a person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read someone to
Mm-hmm.
filth real easy. I mean, you can ask Bailey. If you got a partner, I'm gonna make sure that I'm very clear about how I feel. I've
All
just
right.
always been that way.
Okay.
Do
Good
it
to
nicely
know.
though.
Good to know. Good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Personal life experience for Raza. Okay, no, I'm all on board with that. Those are like very healthy words of advice, and you could figure out the activities that like work best for you, or not activities, the fake activities, the staged activities per se, I guess it would be called. How do you? Yeah, it's staged. All right.
Honestly, just start with a simple meet and greet. Just keep it real fucking simple because you put too much pressure on the new partner and your child to get along if you're just like, okay, we're doing this. We're like in your instance with the bowling. I mean, first of all, your stepdad is absolutely adorable. He is such a lovely man. I absolutely adore and love him very much. I think he's so
Yeah.
sweet. So, there was no failure for him, to be honest. But I think, like, that's a lot of stress for that. Like, for him, it must have been so stressful to be like, okay, I don't know this kid, and now I got to sit with him for however long and go bowling. And
Yeah.
then this kid could just ultimately hate me.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't work out
Do you
that
think
well.
it's
I was
easy?
grumpy.
Do you think it's just you in that on that couch? It's also your step dad too, who's freaking out too as
Exactly.
well. He doesn't
But
know you
Bailey
like him.
But Bailey was
Oh,
lucky
that
though.
was
He literally has the sweetest stepdad ever. I got the shit out of the
Mm.
stick.
Yeah, I got lucky. I did get
I
lucky.
have a real dad. I can't
I
really
have a
argue.
real dad.
My
Yeah.
dad's in
It
my
was
life.
it was
My
even more
dad loves
traumatic
me
for
and
me.
lets me his
My
car.
dad.
It was even more traumatic
I
for me when I met my real dad.
Oh, true. I was even talking with him
Honestly,
on
the
the weekend.
stepdads were one thing. It was meeting the real dad. I was like,
Hmm.
this is what it is.
Me and my
This
dad
is what
spend
I've
Oh,
quality
so
romanticized
time.
all
I'm
this time.
Raza.
it was okay. So since you both come from like you know those
Single
yeah
parenthood.
um was it having a stepdad in your life? What did that do with the relationship, if you had one, with your real dad?
I don't know.
You
We
go
just
ahead
kind of
first,
like
Bailey.
giggled about him. We just kind of
Oh
giggled about the
shit!
stepdad.
You were like you were like shit posting.
Yeah, yeah. You just kind of shit post because then
There's
it's also like
a joke in there, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
you clear the air a little bit. You're getting out the aggression, and then it's not so serious. Like, oh, I think he's gross. Then he's digging for info, and I'm giving the info, but we're kind of shooting the shit about it instead of like a
So did you and
stressful
your dad?
situation.
So did your dad and your stepdad try to battle for uh your what's
Mom.
the word?
Yeah, I made them
No, for
play
your
admiration.
love and
Oh, for
yeah,
your
for
love
your
and affection.
Yeah, I
yeah,
made them play
because they
chess,
crossed
and
the
then
mom
they
bridge.
yeah, I made them play chess, and then they did a backflip contest.
I don't know if okay, all right. I knew I was going to get a serious
Mm-mm.
answer about that, but yeah, it is what it is.
No, I didn't. It was a serious answer. There was no competition. No, there was no competition. Again,
Okay,
because the
but did you
situation in
feel
most
like there
times.
was one or no?
I wouldn't say that I felt like there was one. I would say that my dad was off put by it. If anything, my dad was like, "Yo, what's up with me then?" Because my stepdad was so
Am
different.
I
My
going
dad
back
was
to
like,
the
"Yo,
pound
what's
now?
up?" Yeah.
So did you have to, like, once you got comfortable with your stepdaddy, did you have to make, like, was it hard to maintain both relationships at the same time?
Um, no, kinda. I'm a weird situation, and same with my mom. The dad just wasn't in contact that much as it is. I know that makes it darker. I
Oh,
know that
okay.
makes it darker, but the
Okay.
dad already wasn't in contact much, so then it was like, oh yeah, this didn't really change dynamics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So it's good having an insight on a you know
I
on a
think
half
I
of
think
a
the
family.
biggest problem with both mine and Bailey's situation is that it was literal children trying to create family dynamics. That's what it was.
Oh, interesting.
So
Oh.
instead of our respective fathers understanding that our mothers were women who also wanted to have a relationship with another person and still have a
Mhm.
a good life and have their kid and stuff, instead it was you should have to be sad and pine for me forever because we have a child together while I fuck around and do whatever I
Mhm.
want. That's
My dad is terrified of my mother,
good. That's how it should be.
and
If a man
everything.
doesn't fear
Yeah,
you, he doesn't respect you, Raza. That is the
yeah,
truth.
yeah. I mean, Bailey respects me because he fears me all the time now.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
zingers! I am so full of
But no,
myself
like
today.
legitimately, as a woman, if a man doesn't fear you a little, he doesn't respect you.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the reason I don't want to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the main things why my parents' relationship has lasted so long is the fear from my dad
Yeah.
because he can't
The
do
pure
anything.
terror.
I mean, he's like, because my mom's in Pakistan right now, and my dad is just like, he's living free of
He's
fear.
living free.
Living free. He's doing things where he wants to do, like drink at 6 p.m.
Whoa.
Oh
Don't say that too
wow.
loud.
I know. My mom watches the stream, so
He's
she may
listening
call.
right now. Your dad's gonna get a phone call.
I
You
bet
know,
you.
Now
I
you're a
bet you.
Zuffer,
tattletale.
put
Wine
down the
mom. I
beer.
bet you
I can see
something.
it.
I bet you something, wine mom. I bet you ain't
What?
nobody washed the toilet.
Raza.
No, I did yesterday. Do you want me to take a picture of it?
No,
No,
I
I
don't want a
believe you.
picture of it. That'll
That was
make me
too
throw
quick.
up.
I believe him. That was too
Yeah.
quick.
Okay. Because we had guests over.
Man, I just like as we talk about family dynamics, I'm just thinking about a possible future situation in my life, and like I'm gonna be so violent, bro. I'm gonna be so violent. I'm gonna be uncontrollable. I can just feel it.
Well,
I just
Bailey, all of
know.
a sudden, you and I are with her. She goes into an unclean washroom, closes the door. All of a sudden, you see a glow of yellow light radiating from underneath the door. Open the
Listen,
door.
It will be
Y mom is
her.
going Super Saiyan mode.
Exactly. It's her origin story. We'll be able to make a comic book movie out of her life. The one who saw
She's like
the
looking
poop.
at the toilet.
I just can't handle it. I just can't handle it.
Her
Okay, now
superpower is bleach.
we've been talking about poop for so long. We've now given life advice on several different topics. I feel that we summarized our job advice pretty well,
Yes.
but I wanted to give you the opportunity, since we had our little back and forth, I want to give you the opportunity, if you have any final points on the job hunt, then we'll go to the tweet of the week and close it up. You got a job hunt tip, or you want to close her up?
Who, me?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Me?
Oh, okay. My number one hint for people, well, actually, let's say job hack for people. It's a couple things. One, do those stupid tests where they give you like a list of different things that you would be interested in. And then this is something that I don't think enough people do. This is tip number 2. This is something that not enough people do, and young people should definitely take advantage of this. If there is a job, a career, or a field or something you want to get into, please, for the love of fucking anything that is good in this world, try and job shadow. Call people in positions of power or positions that you want to eventually be in and ask them how they got there, what kind of work they had to do. Literally ask questions. Don't be fucking scared. Ask them if you can come and watch them work for the day, if you can
Yeah.
experience what they do. It's not embarrassing. You're going to learn so much more, and it'll give you the confidence to pursue a career that you genuinely want. Okay? Take advantage of co-op. In high school, co-op was one of the best things I did. I learned very quickly I was not going to be a vet. It's worth it.
Good little tidbit there.
Yeah.
That's a cute one. That's a cute one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I like that last one. I would second that. And based on my points from earlier, it's like, and kind of wine moms, is even if you're working minimum wage, obviously you have extenuous situations, but like value yourself. Like if a job is treating you like shit, like look for another job. Now, I understand many people won't have the ability to quit, but you can look for another job while you're at the current place. Like, try to think of the next step if it is shit.
Yeah. Well, I think also for young people, because so this is a very big thing for me as a young person. When I got a job, I was too scared to quit a job because I was like, oh, I got to pay these bills or pay this bill. Honestly, quit the fucking job. Quit the fucking job. If you really want to, if you're still living at home with your mom, quit the fucking job. Don't stay. Don't force yourself to stay. Just quit the job. You will find another opportunity. Don't burn your bridges, but don't stay somewhere you're unhappy. Don't allow yourself to get to 5 years of absolute misery. It's not worth it.
I agree. Raza,
Yeah.
after your years of
Here.
laundry washing, what do you have advice? Which detergent should we use?
I don't know. The Tide one?
Raza, that's not very helpful.
Fucking. What's the question?
Oh
What
my
are your
God!
job
What's
hints?
your job hints? Job
Oh,
advice?
job.
Odd jobby tips.
Oh, just if you really want to do something, keep hunting every day. But like as Wine Mom says, don't stay at something that will kill you. Right? Just keep and then get a hobby, expand your skills, become like
Okay.
a one-man army, like Bailey is essentially. So just do things which will make you like unique, which is easier said than done. But we're doing it for
Yeah.
Munching the Madness. So if we can do it, you can do it too. And because the bar is that low.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Raza. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. You make me feel good about myself. So we're gonna pull up your tweet of the week here,
You can do anything.
Bucko. I kind of like this one.
Mhm.
All right, Raza.
Oh,
so this
God.
week it's on
Oh,
screen.
like-
We have commenting, quote unquote, the dick riding is crazy on a post of someone congratulating their family member on graduating.
What?
That was a mouthful.
You
How do I
you never-
re-say that in a sentence that makes sense,
Just
Raza?
say it again. Just say it again.
Commenting, the dick riding is crazy on a post of someone congratulating their family member for graduating.
I get it. Yeah,
I think
I get it.
okay.
I get it.
All right. Second time I hit.
Yeah.
I hit a second time. There it is.
Yeah. I just needed
Well,
to
mom is
actually
usually
listen and understand.
Yeah.
No, that's
Word,
fair.
word,
That's
word.
fair. I'm hard to listen to. It's easy to just let my words go in one ear and out the other. I'm worthless.
Honestly, the most dramatic man in the room, I'm telling you right now, the most dramatic one I know. Honestly.
It is Bailey Nargang.
Seriously?
And if you can say your whole social insurance number,
Bro, I'm literally a Libra and he's somehow the most dramatic one in the room. It does not make any sense. Carry on.
Oh.
I don't have
I
anything to
thought
say.
Bailey
I was fucking around
jump
with you
in
to
then.
see if you'd jump in there, Raza. That was jokes. So this week we got Bailey, we got Raza, we got Wine Mom. You can find the show on Spotify, where you can subscribe, and then if you're listening to the Spotify version, you watch us live on Twitch on Mondays at 6 p.m. and you can hang out with us afterwards. It's much more personal, and that is how you become a cool person and get better jobs, because we could give you job advice, because we like to pretend we know everything, because Raza writes the script on a weekly basis, and this is how we decide if we know things or not. But I'm rambling. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate you. You can also find us on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Gnarly Media. You can find Raza with a really confusing name on Instagram, and find him on Twitter somehow, magically. Wine Mom will have a profile to share sometime. Otherwise, can we tell everybody that we love them? Raza, you want to tell everybody that you love them?
Love you, stream people, fans of ours, the 2 people watching us. I love y'all.
Wine Mom?
I love my friends, not the
And
fans.
clean toilets.
Okay? Because the fans are not fans, they are my friends.
Ooh, There you go. No, I agree with
So
that.
smooth.
We appreciate all you.
Gotcha.
This is all slowly growing. We got new things
Hey,
coming.
Billy, look at the flag. Look at the flag. What is that flag? Thank you again for watching us badly talk about these topics.
You can follow us on Twitch, Marching Into Madness, all one word, no space. On the gram, marching_into_madness. And on Patreon at patreon.com/marching-into-madness. And again, on Le Discord at Marching Into Madness.
Join us, and Bailey will pay you 10 whole Canadian dollars.
You can follow Whitey over at gnarly_media on the Insta. You must definitely follow the life of our whole podcast, Wine Mom, at X Wine Mom X, because the year's 2002, and we still have the X in our names. And me, your favorite brown boy, at _r.r Malik _.
Thank you for the third time. We love you. Drink some milk and be healthy.
Remember, kids, say no to school and yes to
It's like such bad advice. It's like here we put this well-formulated podcast together with good insight on facts and truth and political points and social issues. Don't go to school, dude.
Oh, God.
Bailey listens to
Motherfucker
me.
shouldn't be near school after saying that.
It's like Bailey listens to me say the sentence and he goes, maybe I should say my sentence now.